Hello, Niners fans. I'm back at Niners Faithful Radio. It's been a while, but you know, I've been doing my own thing, but been keeping in touch with TJ and the Niners Faithful group. Uh, Here to review the game, spectacular game in Mexico. Without further ado, let's get the show started.
You are now listening to Niner Faithful Radio, the show for the faithful, by the faithful.
Sup, guys? So I'm back, like I said earlier, and just came to fill in for Jaymie today. Um, Here to make the show exciting. Coming back, like I said. So yeah, let's get to this game. Started off pretty slow. Two punts, first two drives ran out as an offensive unit, and then Cardinals a punt and field goal to start off the game. Really slow. Um, But the offense really picked it up after those first two drives. And I believe we got a field goal at the third and then a touchdown off a interception from Jimmy Ward. First half, defense was playing all right, just getting some adjustments ready for the second half. But obviously, big news. Kyler Murray was out for today, so Colt McCoy did fill in for him. He looked pretty good at times, but for a backup, and he did make some mistakes during this game. So yeah, first half, pretty good offensively. Um, Defensive wise, it was a little bit shaky at times, um, but you know how Cliff Kingsbury's offense could get aggressive at times, and we just couldn't find an answer for D Hop. But other than that, I mean, it looked, you know, like a slowish start to the game. And coming in at halftime, they had to show it's in New Mexico. It's in Mexico City and Mexico, so they had a little show going on. So halftime was a little bit longer, but coming in, just the offense was more going forward with the run game. It looked really good. Christian McCaffrey was getting his ease into the game. It was good timing as well because you know the defense was holding up, but we know for how much longer they could have held up. And yeah, and Jimmy Garoppolo was playing great and didn't make some costly plays. And I think it was a spectacular game from him. I believe it was 22 of 29, if I'm not wrong, four touchdowns the whole game, no interceptions. I'll get into uh, the you know stats later, but yeah, second half, three straight games. Second half, a shutout defense is playing like a top tier defense, how we expected the whole year, and yeah, not much to complain about on both sides in the second half. But let me get into further detail because this is just a brief summary. Um, so yeah, I want to go drive by drive, but I'm uncertain I can at the moment. But um, so yeah, like I said, pretty good job from the defense at the second half. Um, well, we really limited Cherkson Sorley to his connection with D Hop, which was going on during the first half. If you had a chance to watch the game, And yeah, it's and I'm really unfamiliar with the number 83 with the Cardinals. He was playing pretty decent at times. Um, Trace McSorley did. Trace McSorley. Colt McCoy did have a connection with him, and they kind of got in rhythm. Uh, and at times, it did punish our defense, but um, once we got settled in, we really did limit those um, connection. And yeah, so what else to talk about? And the cornerbacks were I'm going all over the place. Yeah, run game for them just wasn't a factor. It wasn't going good. James Conner, I don't even think he rushed for over 50 yards this game. Primarily because of the linebacker core, Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw, who did end up getting hurt, came back to the game, and then Aziz Ashire. And yeah. Um, I, what else? I'm sorry. I haven't gotten to the rhythm of this in a long time, but I feel like I've covered most of it. If anyone got any questions, I'm still going ahead and talk about it, but um, I'll just go in between players. So I'm just going to grade off performance from this game. Jimmy Garoppolo, he seemed perfect. Just completing those passes down the middle, checking them down. Christian McCaffrey, just doing his thing, reading the Cardinals defense, extending plays. I'm going to give him an A. 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Usually Garoppolo has 1 to 2 throws that he would make and could be intercepted, or it is intercepted, but he had none of these type of throws this week. But yeah, so for that I would have to give him an A. The running back group, Christian McCaffrey and Elijah Mitchell, just keep tearing it up. I think this duo is gonna really be that 1-2 punch, and Elijah didn't get as much as carries that he did last week, but that was expected because Christian McCaffrey was playing really good, and I would think before this game, since the altitude was an issue, it would be more 50-50 to give those two guys a break. But yeah, it was mostly Christian McCaffrey. Towards the end, Elijah Mitchell did get more carries, and he had some really good runs. Popped like 2 10-yard runs, which was amazing. And I'm gonna have to give him a B plus because the factor of running and Christian McCaffrey's catching ability just to extend plays really was some really key checkdowns for Jaymie. And for the wide receiver core, I would have to give him an A because Brandon Ayuk got 2 touchdowns this game. Some really nice route running from him to gain separation. And this is I think his second game with 2 or more interceptions, 2 more touchdowns in a game, and he's been on the rise this season. And for Deebo Samuel, many have talked about his usage in this offense. We've talked about it. Well, me and 49ers media have talked about it. His usage, and I expected him to get more productive this game, especially because the Cardinals defense isn't as a more it's more one dimensional with I would say Buda Baker and their linebacker Isaiah Simmons. But Debo Samuel, he had that 39 yard jet sweep, and it was just really amazing what he can do when he has the ball in his hand. And he did have some, receptions, nice receptions, a couple 10, 15 yard receptions. That yak, it looks like he's getting back in rhythm. And also, I believe Jawan Jennings had a couple of receptions in this game. So A plus for the wide receiver core, and now for the offensive line. A plus. Pocket was clean the whole game. I think Garoppolo only got rushed once or twice, if most, and the running lanes were good. And I think the highlight of this game was Jake Rendell on that jet sweep. He was 30 yards past the line of scrimmage, still fighting to, look for blocking, and that ended up the reason why we got a touchdown there from Debo Samuel. But I mean, that's just excellent. You, the effort that this offensive line gives you on a week-to-week basis is just unbelievable, and it's it it's just it's more of a um I'm a I'm gonna beat you this one play, and then you're gonna feel it the rest of the night from the offensive line. So no let outs. McGlinchey was playing well. Um, who else? Obviously Trent. Those guys are just the foundation of the run game, and that's why uh, Elijah Mitchell and Christian McCaffrey were able to pop some for 10 to 12, 15 yards. So yeah, A for them. And George Kittle did score this week twice, and you know, so I'm gonna have to get another A. So two really high grades, three really high grades from the offense, and his connection with Garoppolo is just unbelievable. On that first touchdown, um, it really looked like that play was broken down. Looked like Garoppolo was going to scramble for or shovel pass to McCaffrey, I believe, and then Garoppolo keeping his eyes downfield. George Kittle snuck by Buda Baker on top and just put his hands up, and Garoppolo saw him, and he got loose. Yeah, and then his other touchdown was on a bootleg, um, you know, designed bootleg for him. Really, just effort from him. There's three guys who could have made a um, a tackle, but I don't know. George Kittle is frightening for some people. So props to him. Two touchdowns as well. And yeah, that's it for the offense. And on defense, I'm gonna start with the cornerback room. Uh, so obviously, E-Man's been hurt. Charvarius Ward was targeted multiple times and had a rough battle in the first half. Not having his way with D-Hop, just kept riding him up basically, and it really showed in the first half. But in the second half, he did come back, and he was doing his thing. I think he got in rhythm. He did get shaken up. Uh, the first or second drive, I believe, could have been the third one as well. But he was just there most times. He did have a lot of tackles, which I really like him getting involved. Usually it's the defensive line or the linebackers. But yeah, he had a lot of tackles, and um, the Amador Lenore, he had some times that he had to go against D Hop, and he played fairly well at times. And yeah, and Samuel Womack, who ended up going later on in the game, He ended up getting a interception. Could have a pick six, but he, you know, bit off too early, and but he ended up redeeming himself later on, getting that interception in the end zone. For that, I'm gonna have to give um, the quarterback room a C, just because I think they let up too much on D Hop. They couldn't really do much. D Hop was just cooking them in the first half and a little bit on the second half as well. And number 83 guy, I need to study more, but he also was cooking up our defense, our DBs as well. So that's why I have to give it a C. But um, the tackles that Diamado Lenore and Charvarius Ward did, boosted up a little bit. And for the linebackers, I mean, I would have to give it a B plus because they had a great game. Holes were filled from them. Run game was an absolutely non-factor for the Cardinals, and that starts with Fred and Greenlaw, and also Aziz picking it up. Um, it's coverage wise as well was great. Um, we're playing mostly zone, so we had a couple leaks at times, but most times it was covered. So um, that's why I would have to give the linebackers a B. And then safeties, Gibson and Hufanga played a great game. A couple of nice blitzes from Hufanga, and Gibson had I think 2 or 3 balls knocked down, and it was I'm gonna count Jimmy Ward as a safety because I didn't mention him in the DB room. He's a slot corner, but in my heart, Jimmy Ward's still a safety. Um, yeah, they played well. Jimmy Ward got that interception, um, and that ended up leading to a Niners touchdown, which really helped. And I would have to give him a B because at we were running that too high, and at times, that ended up getting a little bit of leakage. Um, but yeah, some nice blitzes from Hufanga. He almost got the quarterback at twice, and then Fred Warner ended up picking them off. So I don't know if it's we had 2 touchdowns, 1 fumble, not a recovery. So that's and we had um two sacks and 2 turnover on downs. So really lights out from the defense, and like I mentioned earlier, no touchdowns or field goals for the Cardinals offense in the second half, which props to D'Amico Ryan's great game plan. I'm about to talk about it in a bit. So yeah, I'll just talk about it right now. Great game plan from D'Amico Ryan's. Adjusting. That's really what I really like about D'Amico Ryan's. He's been adjusting when he needs to, and that's why he's been having these shutout games in the second half. And he sits there, he analyzes it, and he learns from his little mistakes because they're not huge. I mean, you only let up you only let up a touchdown to the Arizona Cardinals in the first half. And yeah, so I usually grade coaches, so I'm gonna give D'Amico Ryan's an A because of the shutout in the second half. And then Kyle Shanahan in the beginning, you have 2 drives that are well, the first one is a 3-and-out, which it's okay. I think you usually get in the rhythm in the game later on. And the second drive we had something going and then had a punt. But after that, kept scoring either field goals or touchdowns and off possessions that we had to turn over from, and kept executing well on offense and some great designs from him and some good play calling at times, at some perfect times from him. Um, and second half, he really got hot in the second half, and we started cooking up, and then we did have I think 1 or 2 other punts in the second half. So yeah, I think great play calling from Kyle Shanahan, And to finish it off, special teams um, pretty well. There was no kickoff returns because of the rain. I think it was a little bit of factor. And then punts, Wisnowski had I think 2 or 3 punts inside the 10 or 20, and yeah, so pretty well. And obviously Robbie Gould, it's good as gold for field goals. And yeah. So if any of you guys have any questions, anything you guys want to lead off the topic, have any questions for me, or just want to get involved in the podcast, you guys can leave a comment. I'll add it. We can discuss it. But yeah, I think that's it for me. Yeah. Alrighty. I think that should do it. Well, yeah. Thanks for having me back, Niners Faithful Radio. Always come by, stay active here, the Niners. And just to add on to the order, 49ers are first place in the NFC West now. They have that tie with the Seattle Seahawks, but since the 49ers are undefeated in the division, they get the higher seed. That's just how it goes. And yeah, great win. Niners move on 6-4. It's been a pleasure. Have a good night. Great win in Mexico. Peace.